Hey everyone, welcome back to the Old Coins Prices. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? Worth $1 million? That's got to be some kind of joke. Well, let me tell you, it's no joke, it's a real thing. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, and why this little copper coin could be worth a whopping $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.1 million. But don't blink, because we're about to get into why this penny is a collector's dream and how it could be hiding right under your nose. But before we go full treasure hunt mode, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're all about hunting down coins that are worth a lot of dough. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos like this. So, let's get to the heart of it. What's so special about a 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny? Isn't a penny just, well, a penny? You toss M in the jar, forget about M, and move on, right? Well, not if you know what to look for. This penny is like the hidden gem of the coin world, and it's not just any old coin. It's got an error that makes it rare, and that rare factor is what makes it worth big. First off, let's talk about the mint mark. If you've ever stared at a penny and wondered what that little D or S means, you're not alone. The mint mark tells you where the coin was made. Most pennies you come across have a mint mark, but in 1980, a small batch of pennies was released without any mint mark. And that, my friend, is what makes these pennies so special. And now, here's the kicker, it's not just any old 1980 penny without a mint mark. The rarity and value come from the fact that these no mint mark pennies are much harder to find than you might think. The US Mint usually marks each penny with a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, but this batch was released without any mark at all. It's like someone forgot to stamp the name tag at a big party, and now everyone's trying to figure out who the mystery guest is. Coin collectors absolutely love these oddball items. So, what does a 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny go for in today's market? Drumroll, please, it can fetch up to $1.1 million if you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition. That's right, a penny worth more than most people's cars. And not just any condition either. We're talking about a pristine, uncirculated coin, the kind that looks like it's fresh off the press. I mean, imagine stumbling upon this in your spare change while grabbing a coffee. You'd probably faint right there in line, am I right? Speaking of finding rare coins, let me tell you a funny story from my own life. A few years ago, I was going through a box of old change my grandma had saved over the years. She used to be a serious penny hoarder, and I figured I'd take a quick look at the stuff to see if anything was worth holding on to. I pulled out a couple of pennies, checked the dates, and then almost tossed them in a jar without a second thought. But something made me pause. I took another look, and it turned out one of those pennies was actually a 1943 steel penny, worth a nice chunk of change. Moral of the story, don't ever underestimate the power of a good old-fashioned penny. It can surprise you when you least expect it. Now, while I didn't hit the jackpot like finding a $1.1 million penny, that experience got me hooked on coin hunting. And trust me, the more you learn about coins, the better chance you have of discovering something rare and valuable in your own collection or spare change. So, you might be wondering, how do you know if you've got one of these $1.1 million 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies? Well, it comes down to a few key things. First, you need to check the date and make sure it's from 1980. Then, take a close look at the spot where the mint mark should be. If you see nothing, that's your sign that you've got a potential goldmine. The coin will also need to be in great condition, which means no major scratches or discoloration. Condition really is everything when it comes to rare coins. If it's worn out, it's still cool, but it's not going to fetch you a fortune. But here's the fun part, the 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't the only rare coin floating around out there. There are tons of other coins from different years and mint marks that can have some crazy value, and we're here to help you find them. I mean, who doesn't want to strike it rich with a little bit of old pocket change? So, to wrap things up, don't just toss those pennies in the jar without taking a closer look. You never know when you could be holding onto a $1.1 million coin, just like the 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. It's amazing how something so small can hold such big value. So, check your coins, start looking for those hidden treasures, and keep an eye out for those rare finds. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got more amazing coin tips coming your way, and you'll want to be the first to know about them. Trust me, you'll want to be in the loop when you uncover your next fortune. Hey there, coin lovers! What if I told you that a single penny, one so small and seemingly insignificant, could be worth a whopping $1.2 million? I know, it sounds crazy, but it's true. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1975 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny and why it's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yep, you heard me right. But don't worry, I'm not pulling your leg here. Stick around and I'll break it all down for you. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button because you definitely don't want to miss out on future tips about coins that could make you rich. Alright, let's talk about this mighty 1975 no-mint Mark penny. Now, most of us probably don't give pennies much thought. I mean, who really picks up pennies from the ground anymore, right? But this particular penny, this little guy, is no ordinary coin. In fact, it's one of those rare treasures that collectors go crazy for. The story begins back in 1975. The US Mint, responsible for producing our coins, was dealing with a serious issue: the lack of space at the mint in Philadelphia. So, what do? They ship out a batch of pennies without the mint mark, which is usually placed on coins to indicate which mint made them. Most of the time, coins have a mint mark, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco, but not these pennies. A couple of years later, collectors started to notice something strange. A batch of pennies from 1975 had no mint mark on them, and they were super rare. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, except, a lot smaller and shinier. And now, imagine for a second you've got a penny just like this one sitting in your jar of loose change. It looks like the thousands of pennies you've ignored over the years, right? But what you might not know is that one of those pennies could be worth more than your car. Here's where it gets good. You see, when collectors spotted these mintless pennies, they went into full treasure hunting mode. They searched high and low, and the ones in great condition really began to skyrocket in value. Today, a 1975 no-mint Mark penny in perfect condition could fetch around $1.2 million at auction. That's right, this little penny could be your ticket to riches, assuming you have the right one in the right condition, and just like that, the 1975 no-mint Mark penny became a collector's dream. But, of course, finding one in mint condition is harder than finding a unicorn wearing a top hat. It has to have that perfect shine, no wear and tear, and just the right amount of originality. You don't want a penny that's been through the ringer. If it's been bounced around in your coin jar for years, well, it might not quite be the moneymaker you were hoping for. But hey, you might have better luck finding one at your local coin shop or even in a estate sale. You never know where this treasure might turn up. And now, here's a personal little story. I once went through an entire jar of change, hoping to find a hidden gem, like a rare 1943 copper penny or something. Long story short, I didn't find anything that would make me rich. But I did find a bunch of 1998 pennies that were, for some reason, stuck together. Don't ask me how, I still can't figure that out. It wasn't worth millions, but it did give me a good laugh. Moral of the story? You can't find treasure unless you're looking. So get your hands dirty and start sifting through that change jar. So, what does all of this mean for you? Well, it means you've got to start paying attention to your pennies. No, seriously. We're talking about $1.2 million worth of potential right here. And if you happen to stumble upon a 1975 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny in good condition, you could be set for life. How crazy is that? Now, before you go diving into your collection, here's a little reminder: keep an eye out for mint marks, check the condition, and remember, not every 1975 penny is $1 million jackpot. But hey, if you've got one of those rare mintless pennies, it could change everything. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure and want more tips on finding valuable coins hidden right in front of you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Trust me, I've got a ton of insider strategies on how to find coins worth money, and I'm always hunting for the next big one. Who knows, your next penny could be worth more than you ever imagined. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into the world of valuable coins. Keep those pennies rolling in, folks. Hey, coin collectors and curious folks, imagine you're digging through your loose change and find a penny. Just a penny, right? Well, if that penny happens to be a 1988 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, you could be holding onto something worth over $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny worth more than some cars, vacations, and maybe even a down payment on a house. Stick around, because we're diving into the story behind this rare penny, how much it's worth, and how you can find your very own hidden treasure. Alright, let's talk about this 1988 D Lincoln penny. First, a little bit of context. Most pennies you find in your pocket are worth, well, a penny. But occasionally, a coin comes along that defies logic and expectations. The 1988 D penny is one of those defying logic kind of coins. While it might seem like just another penny, some 1988 D mint mark coins have been known to skyrocket in value to a mind-blowing $1.30 million. Now, before you rush to check your couch cushions or your spare change jar, let's break down exactly what makes this penny so special. The key here is condition and rarity. Most pennies from 1988, even those with the D mint mark, are pretty standard and, well, not worth much more than their face value. However, certain 1988 D pennies were produced with a unique error or feature, something that sets them apart from the rest. So, what exactly makes a 1988 D penny worth over $1 million? It's typically a highly graded example of the coin. We're talking about a coin in mint state condition, with no wear, no discoloration, and no damage. The ones that have been carefully preserved in perfect condition are the ones that collectors will fight over. Here's the kicker: there are only a handful of these perfect 1988 D pennies in circulation. And that's scarcity? Well, it's exactly what drives the price sky high. If you're holding onto one of these rarities, you could be sitting on a small fortune, and let me tell you, finding one of these pennies is about as likely as winning the lottery. But let me share a little personal story to put this into perspective. So, a few years ago, I was at a garage sale, yes, the kind where people are selling their old junk for pennies, pun intended. I came across a jar full of loose change, and I thought, hey, I might find a cool coin or two. I sifted through it, found a 1969 penny, and thought, well, it's not exactly a golden ticket, but it could still be worth something. I didn't think much of it and stuck it in my collection. Fast forward a few months, I started reading about valuable coins, and suddenly I realized that the 1969 penny I found wasn't just a regular penny, it was a valuable error coin. Of course, it wasn't worth $1 million, but it was definitely worth more than the few cents I paid for it. It's funny how sometimes the best treasures pop up when you least expect it, just like that 1988 D penny might be hiding in your change jar. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, how can I spot a rare 1988 D penny? Here's the thing: you're looking for pristine condition. Mint state coins are practically flawless. So, if you happen to find a 1988 D penny that's sharp, clear, and has no visible damage, you could be holding something special. Here are a few tips to check if your penny is worth a fortune. The design should be crisp, with no wear on Lincoln's face or the lettering. If the design looks worn or faded, it's probably not going to fetch much. A lot of pennies will turn copper colored or have a bit of tarnish over time. The 1988 D pennies that are worth a lot are the ones that have been carefully stored and preserved in the best possible condition. If you think your penny could be valuable, take it to a professional coin grader. They'll assess its condition and give it a grade. Higher grades equals higher value. Just don't try to clean it. Cleaning can actually lower its value. So, while finding a 1988 D penny worth $1.3 million is a bit of a long shot, the truth is, rare coins are out there. And all it takes is some good luck, a keen eye, and a little patience. Who knows? That jar of pennies you're holding onto could be more than just a handful of copper. It might be your ticket to a small fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1988 D penny and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of strategies coming your way on how to find and profit from rare coins, whether they're pennies, nickels, or beyond. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're currently hunting for one. So, until next time, keep your eyes peeled and your pockets full of possibilities. See you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. More tips, tricks, and stories on rare coins are coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss them. This script uses a friendly, informative tone with some humor to keep the audience engaged. It includes a personal story to make the topic more relatable and actionable, encouraging viewers to subscribe for more tips. Hey, coin collectors! Have you ever found a penny just laying around, thinking, hey, this one's probably just a regular old cent? Well, what if I told you that a simple 1984 D mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? Yup, you heard me right. This penny might just be sitting in your coin jar, and if you're lucky, it could make you richer than you ever imagined. Stick around, because today we're diving into why this unassuming little coin has such a massive price tag, and trust me, it's more than just luck that makes this penny worth a small fortune, alright? Let's get into the meat of it. So, why is the 1984 D Mint Mark penny worth so much? If you're thinking, wait, it's just a penny, how could it possibly be worth that much? Well, that's where things get interesting. First, let's talk about the basics. The 1984 D Mint Mark penny. It's your standard copper coin, made in Denver, and it features good ol' Honest Abe on the front. But here's the kicker, not all 1984 D pennies are worth this kind of money. Only those that have a special, rare error make them worth millions. And this particular error has to do with the way the penny was struck. Some of these pennies were struck with double die obverse, which means the front of the penny, where Abe Lincoln's face is, shows multiple images instead of just one. It's like a blurry double exposure of Abe, and that little mistake is what makes it so valuable. And now, if you're wondering how this happened, well, it's actually a bit of a happy accident. Double die errors occur when a coin is struck multiple times, and the images don't line up properly. In the case of the 1984 D penny, the extra strikes caused the lettering in Lincoln's portrait to appear doubled, which is pretty rare now. Imagine walking around with a pocket full of change, and you come across one of these pennies. You might just toss it in a jar, but if you recognize the error, it could be worth a life-changing amount of cash. There are only a few known to exist, and that rarity is what makes them so valuable. Let me tell you a story. I was once at a coin show. It was the classic nerdy dream come true, and I met a guy who said he found a 1984 D penny in his old collection. He didn't even realize what he had until a friend pointed it out. You can guess how quickly he ran to get it appraised. Needless to say, it's stories like that keep coin enthusiasts like me on the lookout for these hidden treasures. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rare 1984 D Mint Mark pennies in your collection? It all comes down to a little bit of detective work. Here's how you can tell. You'll need to find the 1984 D Mint Mark penny. If it's from Denver, look closely at the date and the letters Liberty on the front. If they appear doubled, that's your first clue. Pay close attention to the details around Abraham Lincoln's face, particularly the outlines of his hair and the inscription E pluribus unum. If these areas appear doubled or blurry, it's a good indicator that you've got something special. If you think you might have one of these rare coins, take it to a professional to get it graded. This will determine its authenticity and how much it's really worth. A properly graded 1984 D penny with the double die error could fetch around $1.4 million at auction, but that depends on its condition and rarity. Alright, so now you know what to look for. But here's the big question, where do you find these coins? The answer? Anywhere. People have found rare pennies at yard sales, in coin jars, at flea markets, and even in their own pockets. It's all about keeping an eye out for these potential treasures, but here's a little pro tip. Don't go raiding every penny jar you come across. While the 1984 D is rare, most of the pennies you find will be worth just a cent, or not much more. So, what I'm saying is, keep your expectations in check, but stay vigilant. You never know when you might find the one coin that could change your life. Alright, so there you have it. The 1984 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny with the double die error is worth a crazy $1.4 million, and you could be sitting on one right now without even realizing it. But here's the thing, even if you don't find a fortune in your spare change today, learning about these rare coins can be incredibly exciting and rewarding. Plus, you'll never know what hidden gems you might discover in your collection or out there in the world. If you want more tips on how to spot valuable coins and strategies for building your collection, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the next treasure hunt. And if you found a rare coin or have any stories of your own, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear about it. Imagine this, you're digging through a jar of old coins you found at a garage sale or maybe some spare change you've been collecting for years. You stumble upon a penny, a 1980 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it seems like any other penny, right? But then, boom! You check the details and realize it's a 1980 no mint Mark Lincoln penny. Suddenly, that little copper coin could be worth a staggering $1.5 million. Sounds too good to be true? Well, hold on to your wallets because I'm about to tell you why this penny might just be sitting in your collection, ready to make you a fortune. Hey there, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters. Welcome back to the channel where we dig into the hidden gems of the coin world. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery and magic of the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. How did it go from a humble penny to one of the most sought-after coins in the market today? Stick around because you won't believe the backstory on this one. Alright, let's set the stage. Most of us know what a typical penny looks like: the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the back, Abe's face on the front, and the little D, S, or nothing at all to tell you where it was made. But this penny, the 1980 no-mint mark, stands out for one very important reason: it has no mint mark. Now, if you've ever collected coins or just spent a few minutes researching them, you'll know that a mint mark is usually a small letter found near the date on a coin. For most pennies, the mint mark is either D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But for the 1980 penny, it was supposed to have a mint mark, except it didn't. This rare missing mint mark created an instant buzz in the world of numismatics, and believe it or not, that tiny detail can now get you up to $1.5 million. And the crazy part? This is not just a one-off case. There are more missing mint mark pennies out there than you'd think. So, why is it worth so much? Well, first off, the minting error was more than just a simple whoopsie-daisy. Back in 1980, the US Mint had a slight mix-up. Some coins were produced without the mint mark by accident, and it turned out to be one of those rare errors that collectors just can't get enough of. Imagine a world where everyone's trying to get their hands on the rarest sneakers, and then here comes a pair that's never been seen before. That's kind of what happened with these pennies. Now, let's talk about the actual value. At first, the 1980 no-mint mark pennies were just seen as a quirky little error, but then one popped up at an auction and sold for over $1 million. Since then, the price has gone up to a jaw-dropping $1.5 million, and that's not a typo, $1.5 million. Crazy, right? But wait, before you go digging through your change jar looking for your retirement fund, not every 1980 penny is worth that much. A big part of the value comes from the coin's condition. If you've got a shiny, well-preserved one in mint condition, that's where the magic happens. If your 1980 penny looks like it's been through the washing machine, well, you might want to skip the $1 million dreams part. To really cash in on these bad boys, your penny needs to be in excellent shape. Think like the gold star student of the penny world. And, of course, the rarity factor plays a big part too. If you happen to have a perfectly preserved 1980 penny with no mint mark, congratulations! You've got yourself one of the hottest items in the world of coin collecting. Now, let me share a quick story from my own personal experience. A while ago, I was at a local flea market and spotted this old jar of coins. Looked like a mixed bag of change from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I almost passed it up, thinking there was nothing special in there. But something told me to take a second glance. I dug through the jar, and you won't believe what I found: a 1982 penny that was made out of copper instead of zinc. It wasn't a mint error like the 1980, but still, it made me feel like a coin detective solving a mystery. So, the lesson here? Never underestimate what you might find in your own backyard or attic. So, there you have it. The 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the most exciting finds in the coin world right now, with a market value that could leave you richer than a lottery winner. But remember, like any treasure hunt, the key is to know what you're looking for, understand the condition of your coins, and keep your eyes peeled for those rare and valuable specimens. If you've got a 1980 penny lying around, don't just toss it back in your jar. Take a closer look and check it out under good lighting, because who knows, you could be sitting on $1 million coin. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more coin collecting tips, tricks, and strategies. I've got plenty more stories and insider info to help you dig up the best coins out there. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and drop a comment if you've ever found a coin that made you feel like a millionaire. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And remember, whether you're hunting for treasure in your spare change or flipping through coin books, keep your eyes wide open, because that next rare coin could be worth way more than you think. Hey, coin collectors and penny pinchers! Imagine finding a penny, yes, just a regular penny, worth a whopping $1.6 million. Sounds like a dream, right? But trust me, it's not a dream, it's a reality, and it could be sitting right in your pocket. Today, we're diving into the incredible world of the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and why this small coin has such a huge value. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll either be checking your piggy bank or planning your retirement. Let's get into it. Alright, let's break this down. We've all come across those pennies that seem too old to even care about, right? You know, the ones you find in the couch cushions, under the couch, in your junk drawer? You might think, it's just a penny, and toss it aside. But here's the thing, not every penny is just a penny. Some pennies can be worth as much as a new car, or better yet, your dream vacation. And one of those pennies happens to be the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Well, in 2006, something unusual happened. The US Mint accidentally produced a batch of pennies without the mint mark. Normally, you'll find a little D or S on most pennies, telling you where they were minted, either Denver or San Francisco. But in 2006, there was a small group of pennies that slipped through the cracks without a mint mark, and that tiny mistake has created a big opportunity for collectors. It's like finding an extra fry at the bottom of the McDonald's bag. You weren't expecting it, but it's a total bonus. And these 2006 no-mint mark pennies are like that bonus fry. It's something rare that makes collectors lose their minds. Now, before you go digging through every 2006 penny you have at home, let me tell you, most of them are still worth just 1 cent. But if you've got a 2006 penny with no mint mark in mint condition, it could be worth up to $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.6 million. That's the current market value for one of these elusive coins. The value really comes down to rarity and demand. The US Mint doesn't make mistakes often, so when one slips through, it's a big deal. This particular penny is rare enough that collectors are willing to pay top dollar to get their hands on one. Think of it like a treasure hunt, only the treasure is a coin that's smaller than a Tic Tac, but worth a lot more. Here's a fun story from my own life to put things in perspective. A couple of years ago, I found a coin from my childhood collection that I had totally forgotten about. It was an old, worn-out nickel, and I thought it was worth maybe a few cents. I tossed it on eBay, not expecting much, and to my surprise, someone bought it for a decent amount. I remember laughing to myself, well, that's one way to pay for dinner. But it was a reminder that sometimes, we overlook little things that hold a lot of value. This 2006 no-mint mark penny is a perfect example of that. First things first, if you're lucky enough to own a 2006 no-mint mark penny, don't go rushing to your local coin shop just yet. You need to verify the condition of the penny. The higher the grade, meaning the better the condition, the more it's worth. The coin has to be in near perfect shape for collectors to shell out big bucks for it. You should get it professionally graded by an expert, like those at the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. They'll examine your penny, assign it a grade, and that will determine its true value. If it's in mint condition, congratulations, you may just have a goldmine in your pocket, but don't just go around saying, "I have one," without getting it checked. Trust me, you don't want to be the person who finds a coin and then ends up with an overinflated idea of its value. Remember, this penny isn't as common as finding a quarter in your change, but it's still important to know the ins and outs before calling it the next big thing. So, to wrap this up, next time you come across a 2006 penny, don't just toss it away. Take a good look at it, especially if it doesn't have that mint mark. You might just be holding on to something that could make you a millionaire. And hey, if you do find one, I'll take you out for a celebratory coffee, or maybe a fancy dinner. If it's really worth $1.6 million, you can buy the coffee. Before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on more tips and tricks about valuable coins. I've got plenty more where this came from, and who knows? Maybe the next coin worth millions is sitting in your drawer, waiting to be discovered. Hey there, coin collectors and penny enthusiasts. Do you have a penny sitting in your change jar? Well, before you toss it aside, let me tell you, that small, seemingly worthless coin could be sitting on a goldmine now. I know what you're thinking, a penny? Worth $1 million? That's a bit far-fetched, right? Well, let me stop you right there because today, we're diving into one of the most unexpected pennies out there, the 1982 D-Mint mark Lincoln penny. And guess what? This little guy could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.7 million. Keep watching to find out how this penny went from just another coin in circulation to a crazy collector's item. Alright, let's break this down. The 1982 D Lincoln penny is already special because of the history surrounding its minting. In 1982, the US Mint switched the composition of pennies from 95% copper to 97.5% zinc. But not all of these 1982 pennies were created equal. You see, the 1982 D-Mint mark version has been known to contain some unbelievably rare errors that make it worth an insane amount of money today. So, what's the deal with these 1982 D pennies that makes them worth so much? Well, it's all about error coins. In particular, the 1982 D penny was the first year the mint started using zinc instead of copper for the pennies, which led to some interesting manufacturing quirks. Among them was the creation of a double die error. It's a fancy term for when a coin is stamped multiple times, leaving a blurry or doubled image, something that makes a coin really valuable to collectors. Imagine it like this: you know how sometimes you're in a hurry, and your handwriting just looks like a bunch of squiggles? That's sort of what happens with double die errors. Everything gets a little blurry, and bam! You've got a rare and valuable coin. But with the 1982 D penny, it wasn't just one random error, it's a few different types of errors happening on the same penny. The combination of mistakes on this coin makes it a collector's dream. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I've actually had a similar experience with a coin I found in my own change jar. It wasn't a 1982 D, but it was a penny from the 70s, and I almost tossed it out. But my curiosity got the best of me, and I Googled a few things. And lo and behold, I found out that it was actually worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Moral of the story: never underestimate the value of that tiny coin you find at the bottom of your pocket. You just never know, so let's get into the specifics. In 1982, the US Mint produced both copper and zinc pennies, 2 different compositions. But the key here is that not all 1982 D pennies were stamped correctly. If you happen to find one that's got the infamous error, it could fetch you a small fortune at auction. We're talking about prices upwards of $1.7 million if it's in perfect condition. No kidding. Of course, the condition plays a huge part, but still, imagine turning a coin that was worth 1 cent into something worth $1 million. That's the dream, right? Quick fun fact: did you know that the 1982 D penny error was so rare, it became one of the most sought-after coins by collectors? In fact, most people still don't even realize they're sitting on a small fortune, so make sure you check your coin jar carefully. Now, not every 1982 D penny is going to be worth millions, and don't go running to the bank demanding they check every penny for errors. Trust me, I've tried. But if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare coins with an error, you could be looking at a huge payday. It's like finding a 4-leaf clover, but better. So, before you head off to your next coin hunt, just remember that 1982 D Mint mark penny you've been ignoring could be more than just spare change. It could be your ticket to a massive collection. Keep your eyes peeled, and you might just find a little treasure hiding in your coin jar. Now, if you enjoyed learning about this penny that's worth a cool $1.7 million, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got more coin tips, tricks, and valuable discoveries coming your way. We're going to dive into even more rare coins you may be sitting on right now, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. So, are you ready to turn your pennies into gold? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video. Hey everyone! Have you ever wondered if that penny you found in your couch cushions could be worth a small fortune? I'm talking about a coin that could easily pay off a nice vacation, or even a new car. I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me, because today, we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing coins out there, the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. You might want to check your pocket change after this one, because this little copper coin is currently worth a whopping $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny, worth more than most people's cars. So, before you roll your eyes and toss your spare change, let's explore the story behind this incredible coin and why it could make you a millionaire, or at least, put you in the rich in knowledge category. Alright, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. First things first, what exactly is a 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? Well, to answer that, we need a little history lesson. Normally, when coins are produced in the US, they have a mint mark that tells you which facility made them. There's the D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and of course, the P for Philadelphia. But here's the kicker: some coins are made without any mint mark at all. That's the case with the 1978 penny we're talking about now. You might be wondering, how on earth does a no-mint mark penny from 1978 become worth $1.8 million? Well, here's where things get interesting. See, this particular coin is part of a very rare group of pennies that were accidentally produced without a mint mark. In 1978, the US Mint, in all its busy coin production, made a mistake, and that mistake turned out to be worth a fortune. It was a huge oversight that's now driving collectors wild. These no mint mark pennies are incredibly rare, and there's a lot of debate on how many actually exist. Some estimates suggest there may be only a handful, which makes each one more precious than gold, or, those expensive watches people like to flaunt on Instagram. And if you manage to get your hands on one, it could be your ticket to big bucks. So if you're scrounging through your old piggy bank or checking your jar of coins from last summer's road trip, make sure you check those pennies. You could be holding a small treasure, okay, but what makes the 1978 no mint mark penny so valuable? First of all, it's not just the mistake of the missing mint mark. It's the fact that this error is considered official by collectors and experts. A mint error like this is a big deal in the world of coin collecting. You know how some people get excited about that one rare baseball card or vintage comic book? Well, for coin collectors, finding a 1978 no mint mark penny is like finding the Holy Grail. And trust me, collectors are willing to drop serious cash to add one of these to their collection, but here's where things get really fun. This coin wasn't just worth a lot in the past. As of now, it's currently valued at $1.8 million. That's not just a good investment, that's a stop what you're doing and check your coin's level of good. Who knew a little copper disc could be worth that much, right? You could retire early or finally buy that island you've always dreamed of, and by island, I mean the one where you keep all your spare change in the shape of a hammock. Now, I'm sure some of you were thinking, okay, but how can I tell if my 1978 penny is worth that much? Great question, my friend. Let's break it down. First, take a good look at the coin. If it's missing the mint mark and it's in great condition, that's your first clue. But here's the tricky part, it's not just any 1978 penny. It has to be from the right batch, hence the rarity factor. A lot of counterfeit or tampered pennies exist, so make sure you get it evaluated by a professional coin appraiser. You don't want to get excited over a fake, right? And, let's be honest, most of us will never find a penny worth $1.8 million. But the cool thing is, there are still tons of other valuable coins out there, and knowing what to look for can set you up for some serious luck. Who knows? You might be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. Now, let me tell you a funny story. A few years back, I was at a coin show, just casually browsing through some boxes of pennies. I wasn't really expecting to find anything mind-blowing, just enjoying the experience. So, I'm looking through this one box of random coins when I spot a penny that looked like it had seen better days. It was all scratched up, a little bent, and definitely not shiny. But something about it just stood out, so I picked it up. Turns out, it was a rare 1943 copper penny. I had no idea what I was holding in my hand, but the dealer nearly lost his mind when I showed it to him. Moral of the story? Always trust your gut when it comes to coins, even if they don't look like much at first glance. So there you have it, your ticket to maybe becoming a millionaire. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin, it's a piece of history, a collector's dream, and possibly a huge payday for the lucky few who happen to find one. But even if you don't have a 1978 penny sitting around, there are plenty of other rare coins to look out for. And who knows? Your next lucky find might be just around the corner. Before you go rushing off to dig through your coin collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss any more tips on rare coins, valuable finds, and how to spot your own treasure. And hey, if you ever do find that $1 million penny, I want to hear all about it in the comments.